Greetings, my global family. This is the interview that I did with my sister, AnjaAfreeca, on my Instagram page, Global Green Book. I thought it would be nice to share the knowledge and just her smile and just a good time that we had on this new friendship that we had just started on. It's just very surreal. I really miss my sister. I hope you enjoy her wit and her humor in this interview. And welcome to the Global Green Book. Welcome back, my global family. Check out my latest episode on my podcast, Let's Talk About It with Empress. And thank you for watching. All right, family. All right. Okay, family. Greetings. I hope some people come on here soon while I have this sister on here. So I don't wait for anyone to come on. So I have my sister, AnjaAfreeca, in the place. And she is allowing me to do a interview with her.
I feel like you're so far away.
Okay, we're going to do...
We both got to be in here. There we go.
There we go. So we both are in here now. So Anja had just came back from Ghana, Gambia, Sierra Leone. And she is going to give us an interview, and I have some questions that were asked of her through some of my subscribers, and she is willing to do a second interview with me. So these are questions that I have not asked her yet, so you definitely check out my channel, The Global Green Book. I'm going to have that interview, which is totally different from this one, with all the questions that I asked her. And I had people message me. They're so excited about me interviewing this sister. And she's so humble because she doesn't understand that people are super excited to hear from you. And she also is on Instagram as ALM The Artist. So follow her on Instagram and share what is your YouTube channel.
YouTube is Anja, AnjaAfreeca, AFREECA.
So that's AnjaAfreeca, AnjaAfreeca.
Yes.
So I'll make sure I'll put it in the description comment. So we have several. I see Astral Healing Arts is on here. Hey, my sister, what's going on? And guys, forgive me because I have the camera back a little bit so that you can see us on here. But I see the Gambia 2 days ago. Oh, you just got back from the Gambia 2 days ago.
Somebody made it home.
Alhamdulillah. So what I'm going to do is I have some questions that was sent to me that people wanted to ask Anja, and she's going to answer them. And I forgot to put the mic on here, so we're going to have to speak a little loud so they can hear us.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first question that was sent to me, and if you all have any questions, put it in the comments, and then I'll go back and check the comments, and she'll answer those questions. But the first question was, what are all the steps for visiting the Gambia?
Okay. I would say, first of all, figure out what part of the Gambia you want to visit. Because when you arrive in Gambia, you'll be arriving at the airport. It's called Banjul Airport, but it's not in Banjul, oddly enough, right? So know where you're going if you want to go to the Gambia. Before you leave the States, you're going to need a visa, right? If you don't get your visa in the States, some people like to wait and buy the visa at the airport upon arrival. That's an option, but you just need to check, because I had a duplicate situation, if you will, when I got my visa. I was supposed to leave in August, and they canceled my flight. So with me leaving in August, the Gambia was not issuing visas at that time upon arrival. So I got my visa in Washington, D.C. Okay. So I ended up paying like $200. So now in December, my son decides that he's going to go to the Gambia with me. So since Gambia was issuing visas, I decided to wait until I got to the Gambia to get his visa. So we had a hookup at the airport in the immigration office. So he paid $65 for his visa, and his is a 5-year visa. Okay, and we were able to get that upon arrival right away, stamped. So he's good to go. Trying to think of what else. So you need your visa, of course. Oh, passports. I'm assuming you all have passports, and we need to back up another step, right? If you don't have your passport, get your passport, or you're not going anywhere.
Right.
Right. So you get your passport. Passport's about $85. I don't know how they do it where you live, but where we live at, you can make an appointment at the library, and they will interview you and do the whole process, take your picture and everything, and send your stuff into the passport office.
Now, with that also saying with the COVID,
yes,
how did you have to correlate your time and your flights in making sure that your test was
yeah, that's a little messy because
that's where a lot of people are like kind of like,
yeah, it has to be 72 hours in advance. See, I had to put my glasses on when y'all are up close because I'm a little nearsighted, right? So when you were over there, it was cool. Now I can't see. Okay, so let me see, 72 hours in advance, right? So you need to find some place that will do the COVID test. You're either going to pay out of pocket, or you're going to try to get your medical doctor to write you a prescription that says you need to get this COVID test done. If you do that, then your insurance will cover it. That wasn't an option for us because of the amount of time that we had, the 72 hours. That was considered expedited in PA. And we didn't have places that did the 1-day turnaround. We only had places that did the test, sent it out to a lab, and they could only guarantee 3 to 5 days.
Okay.
I couldn't wait on that. Okay. I mean, the other thing would be, if you know you're going, then make your appointment way in advance within that 72-hour frame. But most of us don't. Like, we looking for the best ticket. We trying to get the best price. So that was the process we went through. We went through about 10 places. My son's insurance company sent us to certain places, but when we got there, they told us, you're not going to get your results back in 72 hours. So I started calling places, and we found COVID testing centers that were just for travelers. I don't know if they have that where you live at, but they have that in PA.
Okay.
So we found a place that we went to, and we kind of lucked up. I actually have a video on that where I talk about the COVID testing, what the space was like when we went in, how the test was administered, and that's how we got our test done. Okay. And it was $150 for each test, right? Okay. So that was the cost of the test. Along with your COVID testing, don't forget that they like to tell you that you have to do malaria, the malaria shot, as well as the yellow fever shot. My son and I had decided that we weren't doing those shots. So because he still sees a pediatrician because he just turned 18, they wanted to do a consultation with him to make sure that he was making an informed decision, and they educated him about how to avoid, getting bit, how to avoid certain issues, to stretch before getting on the plane because we were flying for so long and all this other stuff. But we did not do the yellow fever shot or the malaria shot. If you know you're prone to getting bit by mosquitoes, that's going to be your choice whether you should do it or not. At least try to prepare your body before you go by drinking lots of neem, taking lots of herbs that you know are going to build your immune system, like elderberry and different things like that. Approach it from a holistic standpoint, but malaria is highly probable. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's good to know. She has a lot of good stuff for us. So make sure you get your questions together. So, okay, this is another one. I'm not sure if you can answer this one now. What are all the steps for living in the Gambia? Did you learn of any of this information when you was there?
I did because I personally wasn't really thinking about moving to Gambia, but some opportunities came up, and I did meet people who live in the Gambia. So you can slide over, sis. I don't think they can see
fine.
you.
You're fine. Good? They don't want to look at me. They see me all the time. No, they want to see you.
Okay. Let's see. So I stayed at guest houses wherever I went because I was trying to work within a certain budget. So you have people that rent guest houses and then they invite other people to come, right? You also have people who rent houses for themselves. You have people that buy houses and you have people that buy land. So it really depends on how you want to proceed with that process. For me, I'm not ready to buy land or build a home. I need to go live there first, test out the different communities, visit different people and hear their perspective, and then I will make a final decision about where I want to live. Personally, for me, it's probably going to be Sierra Leone, but I am going to do business in Gambia, so I do plan to rent in the Gambia.
Mm-hmm. So you definitely recommend visiting.
You have to visit. You have to get your feet on the ground because, what looks good in a picture may not be suited for you. You may get there and be like, I can't live with this water pressure. Mm-hmm. Or I can't live with these muddy roads,
mm-hmm.
Or I can't live with the neighbors. I can't live with the roosters. I can't deal with the sounds of the church down the street. Like, you need to decide. Some people like to do public announcements in Africa.
Yeah, they do a lot of that.
Because people don't
mm-hmm.
have access to televisions and newspapers. So you'll get that one neighbor that is up at like 5 o'clock in the morning with their radio blasting to let everyone in the community know what's happening on the highway, what's happening in politics, and that's going on for like an hour. So you got to think about that.
I just seen the Mr. Melanated Mosley just stopped by. He said, just stopping by to show love to you all. Thank you, Mr. Melanated Mosley. Go check out his channel.
Yes,
as well.
Brother.
We love him. He's in the Gambia.
Mm-hmm.
So, 3, what are some of the things that we as Americans do or say that might offend Gambians? Ooh.
Oh, there's so much. One of the things would be being impatient.
You said so much. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
It's being impatient. Because quite honestly, for my son and I, we would make a habit of like being out all day, and then we were hungry, so we get to the restaurant, we like, yeah, we gonna order this good food, they gonna cook it for us.
That's when the waiting time comes in.
What? Be ready to wait, okay? You want fresh food? Know that it's being cooked up, cut, prepared, seasoned for you fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be worth the wait, but don't go there starving because you ain't getting nothing quick. It's just not happening. Also, it's not like a lot of them are cooking on a stove, right? They might be cooking on like the kettles that they use.
Right.
Or like a grill type situation. So it's a different thing when you order food. Just being patient even. Like you might get in a van. I'm going to say it's a van in English terms, but they have different names like Gele Gele, Tro, what's the other one? I forget the other one. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. But, they have different names. You have taxis. But these vans are not going to pull out the station, no matter what your rush is, until that whole van is full. Okay?
Mm-hmm. It's not like here where they wait. They'll pull out.
There's no time schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So when a van is full, and when I say full, I don't mean, there's 3 seats, so 3 people going to sit on those seats. I'm talking there's 3 seats and 5 people going to sit on them seats. Okay, and it's going to be packed, and it's not moving out the station or from wherever it is until the van is full. Okay. So you got to be patient, and patience is the biggest thing because we're used to quick service, we're used to convenient, we're used to speedy. I don't even know if those words exist on the continent. Quite honestly, they don't.
So really, just us being impatient is the worst thing you can do.
Being impatient, also, coming with like a superior attitude. You come in some place that you're not familiar with. So leave everything you thought you knew in the West.
In the West.
Because it's a whole different ball game. It really is. And, our brothers and sisters on the continent are very humble. And a lot of them are extremely intelligent. But they don't feel the need to like display that. They're more about just trying to get everybody gets along, and we helping each other, and we looking out for each other, and there's no need to act like you're above anyone. So they don't really vibe like that. They more like, you're my brother, you know, we're equal, you're my mother, you're my aunt, you're like, that's how they look at things. And so it was different getting used to that, because, you know, we don't get that kind of love here in the States.
Okay.
You know, we might get that on your channel, right?
Oh.
But we don't get that kind of love generally in the States. So it's a different vibe, and you have to be prepared to put your defenses down, because if you go on my channel, you will hear how I had a couple of situations where I was just scared, because I know in the States, I'm like, this person's trying to kidnap me.
Yeah, I remember. It was one where the people were outside, Sierra Leone, and you thought they were going to carjack you or something like that.
Yeah, we were in Sierra Leone, and the taxi took us down a dark alley. I didn't know it was an old busted road. I'm thinking this man is driving us down a dark alley, and he's pulling over to speak to a gang of people. It was all men, you know, and it was very dark, and it was my first time. It was my first night. And come to find out, that's where the little hotel was. Maybe if I had looked at my little directions prior to going, I would have known, you know. But our immediate reaction is to defend ourselves, because unfortunately we come from that in the West. So
okay, so what are the things we need to bring that Gambia doesn't have?
You know, one of the things I talk about all the time is bringing portable toilets, disposable portable toilets. And it's not because they don't have toilets, because they have plenty of toilets. However, you may be stuck in traffic. You may have went to journey out someplace far away from the village, far away from the city. So always have that little backup just in case, right? And the disposable toilets I'm talking about are kind of like, you know, like snack bags. They kind of look like that, except you're able to put them close to you and handle your business, right?
Okay.
So they come. You can keep them in your purse.
Like having wipes and things like that.
Definitely, you want to have wipes. You want to have tissue, because you may go someplace that doesn't have tissue. Okay. You know, or even just to clean yourself off. I would say the DEET-free mosquito wipes, or some kind of natural mosquito repellent would be really good. What else? You don't need perfume. You don't need makeup and all. But if you're a makeup person, do you? But it's hot. It's hot. You trust and know it's hot. Also, just your documentation, right? You want to make sure you have your passport. Take a copy of your passport. Maybe leave your original passport in your suitcase at home or at the hotel, but take a copy of your passport. Have some kind of ID. Give your family members your travel plans. Some people like to even report with the embassy once they arrive, right? Just in case something happens. Insurance cards. I don't know. You may want to let your insurance company know you'll be out of state and out of the country, and see if they cover. I know mine's did not, but I did let them know. The other thing would be for your, if any of you have your cell phone carrier, right? It's always recommended that you bring an old phone with you, and then you can change to an African SIM card, and that can be your phone for like your African phone numbers, if you will. Okay. Right? If you have T-Mobile, they're pretty good at international service. You just have to make sure that your phone is unlocked before you get to the continent. Right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Trying to think of what else you would need. For me, you need lotions, and I know for me, you know, having natural hair, I found that my hair was like very dry on the continent, so I ended up having to search out. Bring your leave-in conditioner, you know, your shea butter, whatever it is you use in your hair to keep your hair moisturized. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Yeah, you need that kind of stuff. Trying to think of what else.
Hey, Sister Amina.
Hi, Amina. I only when I do as far as packing, I went for a month and for 40 days exactly, but I only bought 2 weeks worth of clothes, and those 2 weeks worth of clothes might have been like change your outfit. So let's say, I don't know, 14 days, maybe I bought 20 outfits, and I bought 2 pairs of sandals and a pair of sneakers. Actually, I bought 4 pairs of sandals. I left 2 of them in Ghana. I left 2 in Gambia, because I knew I was taking stuff to leave behind. Yeah, so I only came home with a pair of sneakers.
So your purpose with everything you brought was to leave.
Either I was going to leave it there or get, just give it to someone. So I left this stuff, and I'm sure they'll distribute it accordingly. But you don't need to bring a lot of clothes with you, because then you're going to be charged if you go over your weight as far as your flights. So what I did was, I knew I was going to be taking like 3 or 4 different flights. I looked at the one that had the least weight requirement. Like, so let's say this one is 50 pounds, this one's 30 pounds. I used the one that said 30 pounds, and that's how I packed my bags accordingly.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because I didn't want to get caught with, well, on our flight, it's only 30 and you have 50. So just be conscious of that. I see somebody put something up about the voltage. Absolutely. Bring your converters. Bring hotspots with you, because you see, you helping me trigger hotspots, portable chargers, and you need those converters. Right. Some places do have the converters for you, though. Right? They have like an international exchange, so they'll have like the plug, the extension cord that has the different converting systems, but you don't know that till you get there. And a lot of the airports don't accommodate international. I know when I stopped in Morocco, they had the one with the 2 prongs, and they kind of like cylinders. That's all they had. You couldn't even plug in your stuff to charge your phone.
Yeah, I know what I did was I had like a case, and it has converters for every country on this continent.
Nice.
So it's a case about this big, and it's labeled A, B, C, D, E, F, all the way up to H. And then it'll let you know which converter these countries are good for. Yes. So I invested in the big one, and then I invested in a small one that I could put in my backpack that was specifically for like Ghana and the UK.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, hand sanitizer, of course. A lot of us are rolling with that. Make sure you have your mask. You may not necessarily need them on the street all the time, but you definitely need them if you're going to go in stores or businesses, establishments. And some people may request that you have your mask if you're going to get in their vehicles, their taxis and stuff. So you need your mask for that reason. If you're like sensitive to the sun, you may want to do like a sun hat or something.
I kept my sunglasses and
always
a hat.
Always have some kind of like, I don't know, for the guys, I guess you would need a jacket or a hoodie. For the ladies, I'm going to say always have like some kind of wrap. So for me, I would use my wrap. Maybe I didn't even know I'd end up at the beach that day. So I'm throwing my wrap down to sit on the beach. I'm throwing my wrap on for when I'm cold to keep me warm, or I might get in a vehicle that won't look too kosher. I'm throwing my wrap down to sit on that. So you'll need something like that.
And I love what the Mr. Melanated, Mr. Mosley, he said, remember, adapters are different from converters.
Yes.
Many people commonly confuse the two when purchasing. So make sure you pay close attention when you are ordering those things. Thank you for that. Alhamdulillah. And make sure you all ask your questions. Now, the next question that that was asked, what are things we need to be careful about? Scams, etc.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you found that we really need to look out for that we may not normally look out for?
I really did not run into a lot of scams. I didn't run into a lot of scams. You generally have people that are going to tell you the higher price, and that's because they're expecting you to negotiate. I don't look at that like a hustle. I really don't. If I go to buy some, let me break it down like this. When I'm dealing with artists, farmers, women in the market, I'm not really looking to like haggle with them, because I know what it takes to get these things done. If their price is fair, I will give them the money. If it's a fair price, right? Now, when you're talking about taxis, KKs, the gele, that's the van, you want to double check the prices right, because they have different forms of how they travel. Like a taxi, you could deal with that in 2 ways, right?
Sorry, you don't mean it.
Yeah, you could deal with that in 2 ways, because it could be a taxi that's local, which means he's making every stop. A taxi that's running private, and if he's running private, he's going to expect you alone to pay that higher price because you're the only one in the vehicle.
Right.
I did not run into, when I went to the art centers, of course, they want to try to get the most, and we'll bargain. But for the most part, I didn't really run into any scam type stuff. When you go into supermarkets, obviously there's nothing to bargain about because the price is what is on the item.
Items,
you
right.
know, museums, the price is what is on the item. But people who are selling on their own, they're usually willing to negotiate, if you will.
But I did notice sometimes they do have local prices and foreign prices. So they, I don't know how the Gambia
I didn't see that. I'm sure that
Ghana.
Yeah, I didn't see that. What I noticed is that they will tell you one price and then tell the local price to someone else if you're paying attention. But I didn't really have a lot of that because a lot of times I was with people that spoke the language. See, that's the other key, right? So be with someone who knows the language and know the currency. Like for me, it was easier to learn the currency in Ghana and Sierra Leone. I kind of struggled a little bit in the Gambia. Like I had to keep referring back to my calculator. Now in Ghana, it was like six of their money, 6 CDs to $1 American dollar.
Oh, you got good pricing. When I was there, it was like 5.
Yeah, it was like 5.85, 6 to $1 American dollar. In Sierra Leone, which was my favorite, $100 was $1 million their dollars. If you look on my video, you will see $1 million fanned out. It goes quickly though, but 100 is $1 million their money.
Okay.
Gambia. Now let me see if I remember this. $20 American money is 1,000 Gambian money. And I remember that because that $20 is what they charge you when you arrive in the airport. For anybody who didn't know, make sure you know that. You're going to pay $20 when you arrive in Gambia, $20 when you leave. Right? They claim it's an airport tax. Everyone is charged that coming in. When I came into Gambia, I did not take a COVID test. They asked for my negative COVID results. They checked my temperature, had us wash our hands. We moved through. When we left, we had to get a COVID test, and that was not at the airport. Right? You had to find some place to get a COVID test done. They tell you where you can go. They stick the swab in your nose, and they stick it in the back of your throat when you're leaving.
Okay. Okay. So the next, some of these questions you may have hit on, but I'm just going to read them anyway. What we just did. What is the essential thing that we need to know? Oh yeah. What is the indigenous language? Maybe if you can just hit on what was the primary language in Ghana, Gambia, and Sierra Leone.
You know what? And I've had this discussion with you before. I struggle with the fact that I know a language so well that I really shouldn't know, quite honestly. And it bothers me when I'm trying to say words in the African language that I have to say 5 or 6 times, or that it just doesn't click. That really bothers me. So I'm going to say this. In Ghana, it was a different language, right? The language in Ghana was predominantly, what is it in Ghana?
I want to say Twi.
Yes, because I always want to say tree. Because it sounds like tree when they say it, but I think it's TWI.
Twi.
There you go. So, of course, the English in me is like, no, tree. Duh. Western stuff, right? So, tree for Ghana, I remember that clearly. And that was really all I came in contact with, or all I understood, maybe. When I got to Sierra Leone now, I couldn't even tell you what the language was. You know why? Because my people are Gullah Geechee. And they're from Barbados. So when I heard them talk in Sierra Leone, I understood what they were talking about. It was like a pidgin type of language. And they call it pidgin because if you can picture a pigeon picking, that's what this language is like. They throw in a couple of African words, but a lot of it sounds like Caribbean patois. So I understood them in Sierra Leone. So it was really no big deal for me to try to understand them.
Right.
Now, Gambia was a different story, right? Because we have Wolof, we have Mandinka. And then I visited all these different villages where they spoke these different languages. So it was hard for me to keep remembering the greetings for the different languages in those villages, right? When someone would say it, I would just repeat it.
Okay.
And I'd ask, so I learned to say, like, you know, how are you doing? Thank you. And I would recommend that. If you're going to a country, learn the basics, right? Welcome, Akwaba, like that's kind of across the board. That's the basics. Learn. Hello, how are you? What's your name? I will leave it at that.
I like the Mr. Milanemo said Wolof, Mandinka, Fulani, Jola, Sura Kule.
And English. That must be for the Gambia.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I know I said one of them wrong. I know I said it. I just bashed it all up.
I actually didn't come in contact with any. I came in contact with Wolof and Mandinka, maybe Fulani, but the rest of them I did not.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even. And English, of course. Folks speak English, so it really wasn't that hard. Like, you don't have to feel like you're straining, really, but because a lot of people speak English.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also speak a little bit of French. So if I'm someplace where people are speaking French.
I wish I did.
Oh, yeah. Comment allez-vous?
No.
Je vais bien. Yeah. It sounds like I know what I'm talking about, right?
I just know the French laugh.
Okay, y'all, look, I can't. So I know a little bit because I studied it in school, unfortunately. Of course, I know the colonizers' language, so I don't really want to talk that when I go on the continent. You know?
Right. Now, did I already ask this question? What are the essential things that we need to know? What are the essential things? I think we kind of went over that.
Yeah, I think we kind of covered it. But most importantly, make connections. Like, look to hook up with people when you get there. Like, and you know, the sister will tell you, we've been hanging out since yesterday. She done left, went to New York, came back through on her way home. You gotta know people.
I speak Compton.
Mr. Mosley, no you don't. He is so proper speaking. He needs to stop. That brother there is too much.
I speak DC.
Well, look, I don't even have to tell y'all I'm from Brooklyn, so I guess I speak Brooklyn, right? I don't know. But yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting the melanated Mr. Mosley, as well as the happy companion. Blessed me and my son. They hooked up with him. We have a video on that. And they just, you know, they were just good brothers. Like, I call them Gambian kings because they're the kings I know in the Gambia, you know, and just good people. So yeah. So please, when you go, make your connections. So my thing is, I subscribe to people that I really respect. I just don't subscribe to people randomly. So when I came to the Gambia, it was my mission to meet these people that I subscribed to. They was like YouTube stars to me, you know. So I got there and I looked for melanated Mr. Mosley, happy companion, militant angel, right? I didn't even know about spicy tasted vegan cuisine until I met them, and I'm like, I've been following your channel.
Nice.
And I've heard about them. So that's the couple that you see in my video dancing, Mama and Sierra. And they were people that I had heard of and I knew of, but I didn't realize until I was actually shaking hands with them who they were.
Oh, they were in that, nice, mashallah.
Yeah, and then I met a bunch of YouTubers, folks that aren't really YouTubers, but they've been building foundations in the Gambia for the rest of us to come through. A lot of folks in the UK are in the Gambia. I had no idea that folks from the UK have been coming for like 10, 15 years.
Because they're so close.
They are. They absolutely are.
They're so close, and it doesn't cost as much to come from Europe to Africa as it does here from America to Africa.
Yes.
So they have an advantage of over
Yes, a lot of them are English Jamaicans as well, so they have that tie. And for the reggae lovers, honey, Gambia is for you because the Gambians love some reggae music.
Too.
And they have some off the chain reggae parties at Domino's in the Gambia on Friday night on the beach.
Wait a minute, the name Domino's, okay? That lets you know. That just lets you know. Okay?
Yeah,
Domino's.
great parties.
So I have, okay, the next question is, do we have to get any shots such as malaria, corona?
Yeah,
corona?
Well, you know what? I guess someone's talking about the vaccine. I don't think the vaccine has been officially approved. So if you are brave enough, let us know how that works out.
Yeah, let us know.
But yeah, we opting out. I will not be doing any vaccines to travel. I will take the test. I don't have a problem doing that because I think that's reasonable, and I don't feel like anything's being injected into my body in order to find out whether I have COVID or not. The other thing is, like I said previously, yellow fever and malaria. Malaria is highly recommended. It is not required. Yellow fever, I didn't have to do it because I was in Senegal 26 years ago, and I had a yellow fever shot. And because I had that yellow fever shot, I never have to repeat that again. So my son, on the other hand, he's never had yellow fever or malaria. And I didn't necessarily want him to take it, but I let him do his own research, and he opted out.
Okay. Well, let me let you all know. I had to take my yellow fever shot twice because the first time I took it, I don't know what I did with the car. I couldn't remember where I got it, so they made me get it a second time. So I have it twice. So definitely don't lose your card, or they will make you get it again.
And that's the card she's talking about. For those that don't know, is your shot record. I still have my shot record from when I was a baby. I don't have to tell you it's all tattered and crazy looking, but I have my shot card, and I had my yellow fever shot was on there. So I didn't have to do it again. And that was, like I said, 26 years ago, but they was like, there's no need to repeat it.
Okay. So the next question I was asked, what was a culture shock for you?
You know what? I guess, yeah. For me, to be honest, the culture shock for me was the young men with the older women. Like, I had heard about it with 25-20s, if you will, but I didn't know that.
Are you talking about us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I heard about it, but hearing about it and seeing it are two different things. So on that end, it was disturbing. But quite honestly, I wasn't upset with the brothers. Like, I get it. Your financial situation might put you in that predicament. I was upset with them old people because I feel like they are manipulating a situation to their advantage. Okay? Everybody's adults, so I gotta leave that alone. Another story. As far as we go, that was a little different for me. You know, coming on a continent, I just didn't really think about us indulging like that. But I get it, you know, and I had that discussion with you. I get it because, you know, these brothers on the continent are young. They're not like jailbait. Like, we're not talking like under 21. I'm talking maybe 20s, 30s, dealing with women in their 40s and 50s. That was a little odd for me.
Right.
You know, where we come from, we
I
call
have
that
a
cougar
son
stuff.
who's 28, so
that, yeah, we call it cougar, but I think it could borderline on pedophilia in a way. You know, that's just my personal thing. So it was a matter of me realizing
I had to laugh.
I had to realize that these brothers do not see themselves as like little boys. They see themselves as men with experiences that some of us don't even have a clue about. You know, they've been raised to be men, so their experience on a continent is a lot different. And some of them are looking for partners that they feel are going to support them, that are going to make them better people, whether it's because it's financial support or emotional support or even to help them build character. So it's interesting to observe from the outside the dynamics of it. You know, it's not for everybody, but then along with that piece comes, on the other side of the spectrum, polygamy. Like, I had 2 proposals while I was there.
And
I'm like,
they were both married?
One was married. He had 5 children, and he kind of did it in a way where he invited me over. We were discussing business. I met him through a mutual friend in the States. And when we were having dinner, I'm like, okay, well, where's your wife? And next thing I know, he's telling me, well, my wife is eating out in the courtyard and she made this for us. And I'm like, So y'all will see her food featured on my page because I gave her all kind of props to let her know my situation with her husband was strictly business. And my situation with her was going to be business.
So that's something that you have to also be mindful of, that the wife could be setting up dates for you.
Yeah.
While you're on there to help her husband court you.
Yeah.
So that's different for us. Yeah.
That is different. And wifey was part, like, I didn't like the way it was presented, but she seemed comfortable with it. But I had to let her know that that is not my culture. And I respect what they do, but I can be auntie without those kind of ties, okay? The other situation was someone who was younger, right? His logic was, oh, you could be my first wife, and then when it's time to have children and that issue, then we could discuss how that would be approached with a second wife.
So when you're going on the continent, you have to also be, in certain countries, you have to be mindful that that's something you have to really think about in advance and maybe have those conversations with those people to make sure if you are interested in pursuing a a love match.
And see, that's something I said to sisters as well. Everybody's talking about, oh, we going home to the continent. We going home to the continent. Everybody's not ready to go home to the continent, for one. Secondly, pick a place on the continent where you can find a suitable mate. Okay? You can't go to certain countries and think you're going to find someone that may be intellectually or financially as stable as you are. Does that make sense? Can y'all read between the lines, the subliminal message there? Pick your locations accordingly.
Exactly.
I'm going to say that.
Exactly. And some of us don't think that through. They don't. The next question is, what and where are the attractions and things to do?
Oh, again, if you look at my videos, I had an 18-year-old with me, so we kind of stayed busy, you know.
Yeah, because I saw you all going to tattoo parlors. You were going to the cave. You were going to club. I saw a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we went to a movie premiere for a Coming to Africa movie with Power and Future from Limblake. We were there at their opening, and then we went to the tattoo place. And then we went, he did four-wheeling. Like, in each country, I tried to find something I thought he would enjoy doing.
Okay, so what was one thing that you all found in each country that you found that was geared towards young people that was enjoying that you wouldn't think would be there? Maybe that'll make it a little harder for you.
I don't know. You know, young people around the world are kind of like the same, quite honestly. Because I remember being at Lake Volta. No, Lake Botswami, I think it was. That was in Ghana. And we walked across a famous bridge. We went on a speedboat. We met the brother that has the Earth Bag House that Wodamaya interviewed.
I seen you all riding bikes.
We riding bikes?
On the beach.
He was no, not you all.
But
he was riding the four-wheeler. I have no interest in that. Yeah, he did. He rode the four-wheeler. That was in Gambia. There's some folks called Easy Quad, and they do bike tours and they do the beach rides. So it's two different things. So he did that. For me, I was more like a little kid, just kind of exploring. I was talking to fishermen and I was talking to artists, and that was just my vibe. Going to different art centers. He went, but he wasn't as much interested in that as he was in more of the interactive stuff. So in the Gambia, the young people have a hangout called the Q City. I didn't go in. I just knew I was getting him cabs to go there and cabs to come home. And he was hanging out with a bunch of other young diasporans. So they were hanging out like that. And the food, of course, right? You have to think about, like, you may want to eat all the traditional food, but your children may not. They may still want a little taste of what is the fast food here. So when we first got there, he wanted Burger King. He had it. He said it was good. It tasted different. That was the last fast food my son has eaten. And that was in Gambia, and that was in beginning of December.
All right. All right. This sister, she made sure she had some questions. Okay. So I'm down to the last few. So I want to know if I want to own a business, what is the process? Is it easy or hard?
Well, I'm not going to say it's hard. What I am going to say is that I believe you have to be a citizen, right? I think you have to, and that's why people are so stuck on citizenship and wanting their citizenship, because even as far as owning land, I believe citizenship, all of that is a part of that process. So I would say, like, talk to a realtor, talk to folks who have black-owned businesses. For example, there's a sister in the Gambia. I left her information in one of my videos. Her name is Miss Janine. Miss Janine has it's called Janine's Africa Soul Restaurant, and she's in Senegambia. Her food is good. It's amazing. But she is a business owner. And the deep part is, my queen is from Brooklyn. She had a real estate business in Brooklyn, in one of the most prominent areas, ran a real estate business successfully for many years, has been in Africa, she said in Gambia since 1994, so I'm assuming she's been back and forth to the continent many times. She runs an import-export business. She has her restaurant. from what I understand, she has a guest house and she's about to open a day spa. So this is a sister that could give you information about all the different locations. So her information is in one of my videos. I don't know her phone number off the top of my head, but her details are in that video.
And we sat and we did some organization. When you go to AnjaAfreeca's channel, where can they find it at? Because I know you're gonna make sure you put everything in the right context. It's gonna be labeled on the web playlist.
I'm feeling pressured right now.
Yes,
I'm feeling like she's pressuring me.
I'm putting the pressure on you, sis, because you got some good information. It's gonna be under the playlist businesses.
Yeah, businesses. And I had, like, if you see me interviewing people, it'll be under those as well. But the sister helped me line up my stuff, put it in order. Because you know me, I shoot a video and I'm like, here you go. No editing, no nothing, But she said I had to put some order to it. So she was here helping me with that today.
Yes.
And somebody asked something about the trip can be very pricey. You really, it depends on the time of year. Because quite honestly, when I first started looking for round trip tickets, I think it might have been like $2,100. And I'm coming from Pennsylvania, so the airport would be Philadelphia International. But because of where I live in Pennsylvania, I can leave from New York, New Jersey, Virginia, or Baltimore. So it really depends on how far you're willing to drive, right? And what time of year you're going. So what I ended up doing, instead of paying $2,100 a ticket, I bought my tickets one way.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at that to each do place myself. Yeah, that's like, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, you can do it.
It definitely comes up cheaper. It definitely comes up cheaper.
But nobody's going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that because some of those airlines don't deal with the U.S. So you won't know until you go to book that ticket from that country what your options are. So just, think positive. And you really can't look at it as pricey because look at the things we spend money on a daily basis, right? I think it's pricey for us to stay here and suffer. So I'm going to scrape whatever I have together to get on a continent and make that move. You have to get on the ground. Some people are just ready to get up and go. And if you're in a position where you can do that, all blessings to you. That's not the way I roll. I needed to get down there and put my feet on the ground and not talk about what business I wanted to open. I had to go and see what businesses were needed.
So now that you have done that, now you can kind of get an idea. So as actually setting up a business, you really couldn't say right now, not because you haven't really started, you just were looking for the opportunities.
There were so many opportunities. For me personally, I'm looking at food, and I'm looking at transportation. I'm looking at fabrics, artists, because I've had art galleries before, so that's where my interest is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next question is, if I want to own land, what is the process? Is it hard or easy?
Once again, citizenship. That's one of those questions for citizenship. However, I do on my channel, I interviewed a sister that I'm calling her Diva V. If you check out Diva V, she shows is it 50 by 50 or 500 by 500? I forget how they break down the numbers.
I think it's 50 by 50.
50 by 50 plot of land where she is building an eco lodge, store, guest house with a pool and all that. So the land is there for you to see. And she explains that you can only own a certain amount of land in each village, but depending on the way you do it, whether it's residential or commercial. So I would recommend you look at that video.
Okay. And, all right. So from your travels, this is the question, how do I get citizenship, or can I get it there?
No, I think in the Gambia, you need to be a resident for a certain amount of time.
I think it's like 15. Is it 15 years? I think
I'm not sure if it was 10 to 15.
I think it's 15 in Gambia.
Yeah.
Ghana, I'm not sure. And I think
and Ghana's a little harder to open businesses as well. They have a lot more protocol in place than Sierra Leone and Gambia.
Well, from what I know in Ghana, you cannot own a business if you are not a Ghanaian citizenship.
Right.
But you can do wholesale. That's why a lot of the foreign businesses over there are wholesale businesses.
Okay.
So, or online. But as far as actually having an actual business, I think you have to be a Ghanaian citizenship.
And you just reminded me of something. To do business in the Gambia, I think you have to partner with a Gambian.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember situations where there were sisters that were married to Europeans, sisters on a continent, Gambian sisters that were married to Europeans just so that European could be able to run a business.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I experienced that at a restaurant I went to, Fatu's restaurant. She is married to a European man, and I believe that whole apartment complex and the restaurant is jointly owned by them. And then there was another situation where I went to like another eco lodge by the beach in Bruford, and the brother is married to a European, and her name, I believe, is on the facility.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you can have a Gambian partner, you're able to do business as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think with Sierra Leone, if you can prove your lineage, you can go over to Sierra Leone and apply for your Sierra Leone citizenship. But you have to prove it. You have to prove it some kind of way, whether it's through African ancestry or what have you.
It's African ancestry, and they ask for your birth certificate. So in Ghana and Sierra Leone, right, as well as Tanzania now, I understand, is doing something where they're welcoming diasporans home, right? So if you come back, they have this process where you apply, and you have to have like a letter of reference, your birth certificate, African ancestry results, not anyone else's, African ancestry. And even that process takes a little while. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many of you have been watching, but January 5th, they just had a ceremony where they gave out passports, and you saw Dinus the mayor and some other people.
But Eat, Love, Migrate. It was a few of them, a couple of singers.
I don't know if she was there.
Mm-hmm,
I thought she got
there.
Hers last time.
Mm-hmm. She had to come back for the ceremony.
Oh, okay. So, because I was going to say, I knew
they
that he got
it.
his,
Mm-hmm.
but those people had been waiting from 1 to 2 years
mm-hmm.
for this process, because I was there right before the ceremony, but because I had came in like a week or two before they were doing the ceremony, it wasn't like it was automatic and I could just give my information. I told them I'm preparing for when I go back in June, but I'm going to have to wait until that process kind of takes place. I do understand that this new president in Sierra Leone wants to get the paperwork done and is pushing things along, and that's why this process happened as quickly as it did.
Mm-hmm. And this is the last question, and and anyone who asks a question, I'll answer it. Not I answer it. Anja will answer it. How are the people?
Oh, they're beautiful.
How are the people? That's so simple.
Yeah, that's an easy question for me, because one of the things that I said was that I had no intentions on staying in Gambia. That was like my last, quite honestly, day 2, I was like ready to go. When we came to the airport and I saw some people that I felt might be religious, and maybe
mm-hmm.
that was me judging.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a lot of Muslim brothers. I saw them kind of looking like, I don't know if they were looking at me to see if I was dressed appropriately, or they just knew I was a foreigner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But I saw that and I was thinking, oh, this is a predominantly Muslim country, and I don't know how I will fit in, And that was just me on like day 1 and 2. This is from what I saw at the airport. We started moving around, and I'm like, okay. It's not that different from any other African country. Like, I've only been to 2, but now I think I got the world under my belt, So I'm like,
you're good.
That's how we do.
That's more than most people.
So I'm like, I don't know. It feels like the other ones, And I don't know. Maybe I wasn't giving it a chance. Mm-hmm. But as I started to meet people and interact with people, it was so warm and so welcoming that I was like, I could live here,
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting because the Gambian people have a different vibe from the people in Sierra Leone. Mm-hmm. The people in Sierra Leone have a different vibe from the people in Ghana. For me, Ghana wasn't for me. I liked Cape Coast. I thought it was beautiful. I could live there. Did not like Accra. Accra was like New York on steroids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was
interesting. Care for it.
When I was in Accra, I wasn't in Accra. So I really didn't get the effects of Accra because we were so busy. We went to our sites and then we left. So I saw what was happening, but I really didn't get to experience Accra. But I know what I saw. I was like, I'm glad I'm not out there.
Yeah, I didn't care for Accra. I love the art. I think it's a good place to visit. I wouldn't want to live there.
Mm-hmm.
So we left there. Now, Sierra Leone had my heart, right? It was just a connection. It's a very soulful place. I easily understood the people when they talked. My ancestry is from there. The food, everything. I was just good.
We're sisters, y'all. We're cousins.
100%
We're both
Mende.
We're both Mende, Sierra Leone.
Yes,
so,
and it's so strange that we ended up connecting the way we did, right? Through YouTube. See, you can't separate the vibes.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
So Sierra Leone was the place for me. I had decided this is where I'm gonna live.
Feel free to go to my channel and check out the full interview. My sister is missed, and I appreciate love you all watching and enjoying this video. Make sure you go like, subscribe, and share the content. My sister has so much information to share about the continent, and I pray that you enjoy this video as much as we enjoyed making it. This is your girl Empress, and this is the Global Green Book. Thank you for watching.
So they coined that term, African Netflix and chill, and that's what Gambia is like. It's just that vibe that you can be at peace or you can have excitement, and forget about the nightlife is off the chain.
Yeah.
If you're a party person, I'm good for 1 or 2 parties, but I don't have to be out every night. That's not my thing. But one good party a month might do it. That might be enough.
And knowing that it's there when you do want it.
And great music, right? Because they have great musicians and singers and entertainers, really good DJs. So it's that type of person where type of place where you can get all of that vibe if you want it.
All right, awesome. Well, sister, thank you so much.
You're welcome
for doing this for me again. I already did one interview, so it's gonna be a part 1 and a part 2. But I wanted to do this one special for my Instagram family because I really appreciate love you guys. And a lot of you all are on here and not on my YouTube channel, but make sure you go to her YouTube channel, AnjaAfreeca. I put it in the description box. Make sure you check out my YouTube channel so you can see the other video. I'll put it in my description, in my bio, so that you can link to it. And go to her Instagram page because we're going to force her to be sharing more on her Instagram as well. I put that in it. ALM the artist.
Yes.
So definitely check her out. She's also has her a Posh share your Poshmark page as well, so people can check you out on Poshmark.
I have online stores, so on Poshmark I am Posh Ambassador Andrea Martin.
All right, so I'll make sure I'll put that in the description box so that you all can find her on Poshmark, because I'm going to find her as well. Yeah. All right, so thank you, my sister.
You're
I appreciate
welcome.
Love this.
Of course.
And thank you, family, and thank you for your questions. And until next time, peace and love. Thank you for your support. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. 1200, we're trying to get there, y'all.